It is definitely time for dance. It's time for the party right here on Raypower FM. A very good morning to you. This is UMS Extra. You're hanging out with the Prince on Radio. And of course, Tife is also here. And I've got alongside me DJ X Smart as well. Tife, what's good? What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm actually happy and excited. I mean, we're listening to Ijoya, this particular song that works for years and is still working the whole town. I mean, there's no how you're going to play this song at a party or something.
Look at the energy
in the song. The other time, he was literally just dancing like it was some little child just enjoying himself. So I mean, this song definitely brings back a lot of memories, and it's so exciting to be here right now and be having the exceptional and one and only right here.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, we could go on and on about this song, but hey, I don't think we would be able to tell the story of this song any better than the one who listening to it right now. A lot of questions going up in my head because at the time this song dropped, we're talking about a song that's way over 20, maybe close to 30 or thereabout years ago. At the time this song dropped, it was a time when in the Nigerian music industry, people were just experimenting sounds. Was what was becoming to be accepted, in Nigeria. But for someone to say, you know what, I'm going to take the elements of the traditional sound, the go-go, and then I'm going to do rap of the Western rap. It's just a very daring move. The crooner of this sound, an OG in the business. I mean, they hardly come any bigger than this as far as superstars in the game are concerned. Wade MC is with us this morning. Wade, what's good? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, so let's talk about what I just said regarding this song. I know you must have answered this question tons and tons of times in your career. At the time, it was not a sound that, yes, we were, pretty much accustomed to the Western sound, all of that. But for you to have said, you know what, I'm going to do hip hop, I'm going to put the go-go elements in it, I'm going to do the African sound and put it all together. That was a very, very bold experiment there that really worked. Please tell us the story.
To be honest with you, I've never ever seen Ijoya as a song. Ijoya is like a seed. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. I've never ever called it a song. But I always knew that I didn't want to toe the safety side when it comes to creating music. I've always wanted to be somebody who can throw spanners in the works. My thinking is very, very alternative. I'm very, very progressive. I go inwards. I'm very, very introspective. So I wanted something really, really different, really, really, really unique. I wanted to go totally countercultural with this. And I've been listening to a lot of like dance music, because I had the opportunity to tour Europe with a DJ collective called the Shrine Sound System. They're like a digital version of Fela Kuti's Shrine. So went to places like Russia, Ukraine, we'll be in Belgium, Spain, and I was exposed to a lot of techno, acid bass, alternative, and I started to think, it's time for me to do something really, really like up tempo. And the same vein, I didn't want to sound like anything out there. You understand? Then I just started to put ideas together, and I knew I wanted to marry the West and Africa together, which also reflects my upbringing because I was born in the United Kingdom, but I was raised in Africa. So I wanted to bring that to the fore as well. So I started to dig. And at the time when I was with the Shrine Sound System, we used to tour with a talking drummer called Mr. Culture. And I was thinking it would be beautiful to marry elements together. And I started listening to a lot of garage music, the Soul Solid Crew, Miss Dynamite, things like that, Craig David. And I said, do you know what? I'm going to bring something fresh into the mix. So I put the template together and brought the template to JJC Skills. And JJC heard it and it was just freaking out. And then in comes Don Jazzy as well. So I brought the template and they started to flesh it out. You have this idea, but you need competent hands. It's like you're pregnant and you're about to deliver the child. You need the midwives. You need the midwives to guide you through, to push until the baby comes out. So, or you write a proposal it's like a template, it's skeletal, and then you start to flesh it out. So that's what the producer, that's what we all did in the studio. And we just gave birth to this smash. I remember when we were recording, JJC was so excited. Don Jazzy was so excited. Don Jazzy would do this to me in the vocal booth while dropping the vocals. Even the vocals, I didn't want to do your traditional dry hip hop kind of like syncopation. I wanted it to be very, very melodic. And at the time, I've been listening to a lot of Nelly, and that kind of rubbed off for me. I'm like, oh, Nelly's very, very melodic when he spits his bars, and that's what I brought to the fore when we were recording. And by the time while we were in the studio, JJC was already saying, this is a smash, this is a smash. And then boom, that was it, it came out. But the one huge surprise for me was that I did not expect kids to like the song. And I remember my very, very good friend, Queen Onakala, her son would just be jumping around the house. And she started saying to me that, Shola, this song, children are going to like this song. And that was it. The marriage of hip hop, alternativity, talking drums, melodic bars, the energy, the delivery, everything just came together. And I sincerely believe that at that time there was a divine hand as well upon what I was doing. It wasn't me, that wasn't flesh. Years later looking back, it wasn't even about a song. It was like birthing a new movement. You know, and I say this with all humility, that was like a seed that now gave birth to this Afrobeat movement that we see and hear it today. That's what I believe happened in that moment. But I didn't understand then. But now looking back, I'm seeing how huge that moment was. It wasn't about me. It wasn't even about, oh, Word MC has a song called Ijoya. It was the birth of a movement, a sound.
I
Hey,
am praying
Tifa, how you
to today, and
doing?
of course we can get to.
It's a pleasure to really have you right here on
Thank
the
you very
show
much.
today.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. And now, you were talking about the birth of that amazing sound that has gone on to change and, just redefine what we now see as Afrobeats now. Did you see the acceptance of this song coming? Did you see the acceptance, coming, especially the way it was accepted by a lot of people? Of course, you mentioned the fact that the younger people, you didn't think that they were even going to enjoy it anyways. But then the song came out and it was everywhere. Did you see that coming? Even whilst producing and recording and all of that.
I knew I had something special, but in terms of the level and the depth of the acceptability, I didn't see that coming at all. And I think the most shocking thing for me was that the way it cut across strata, age, persuasion, I didn't see that coming. Right from the north to the south to the west, we are talking from 13-year-old children, 7-year-old children to 70-year-old, people. I didn't see that coming, cutting across into the marketplace, the streets, the mass, the upper echelons in society. I didn't see it cutting up. It literally pierced every strata of society. I didn't see that coming. Even global acceptance, I didn't see that coming because I thought I spat most of my words in Yoruba anyways, pidgin. But I didn't know. You just don't know what's gonna happen when you go into the womb, when you go into the incubator to start, birthing these seeds. You don't know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of music. You can never ever predict, but you just ensure that when you go in to record, you give it your all. You bring excellence. You bring, effectiveness. You spit the bars. You go for quality. We're in 2025. That song was released in 2004. We're talking 21 years later, and I'm totally stunned. I'm shocked. Anywhere that I still go today and I perform and I go on stage, the reception is always so overwhelming and totally like unbelievable. Like wow, wow.
Okay, thank you so much for the feedback. Trust that we're also working on all of these things. Ibiron, can we see you on Instagram as well? Abimbola, big shout out to you. Iyare George, thank you so much. Of course, Matilda, you also joined us earlier. We will just be giving you all the props and shout outs as we move along. You can join us on Instagram as well. We're live at Raypower Network and we're having a conversation with an OG in the game. With MC. Now, Wade, you talked about, you mentioned a whole lot of names in terms of the production of this song. I heard you mention JJC, you talked about Don Jazzy as well, which showed that there was a lot of deliberate effort in ensuring that, this wasn't just you and what you had in mind you got the right minds as well. Now, there's always been this debate about, who the pioneer of Afrobeat and the sound in Nigeria is. Without, pushing the glory or trying to take the glory in any way, who are the names that you want to mention as people that, when we want to tell the story of Afrobeat in Nigeria, we cannot leave out this name?
I'd even go as far back. There was a huge renaissance, a renaissance of the Onye Kaonwenus, the Majek Fasheks. You can't leave them out of the story. You can't. Christian Boko, you can't leave them out of the story. Wale Badaru, you can't leave them out of the story. That was a sound that just leapt off and took off without even vocals. All we had were instrumentals. You cannot leave out people like that. Even with the fact that they've added S to the word, but let's also be clear, there's a distinction between Afrobeat and Afrobeats with the S. But in terms of, people who were part of the journey, those who cleared the path in order for us to walk, the shoulders upon which we had the opportunity to come forth. You cannot leave out the Sashino Peters. You can't leave them out. You cannot tell that story without bringing them in. Junior and Pretty, Shagun Bucknor. You can't. Sound on Sound. Do you understand? The Remedies, the Plantation Boys, Weird MC. I can go on and on and on. Jasmine Olofin. Even if you look at somebody like Wale Ayuba, he broke the rules. When he did that song, it's bubbling. It wasn't 100% Fuji. It wasn't 100% pop. It was a fusion sound. And if you look at the rudiments behind it, the synchronization, the sensibility, the mind behind it, it can still fall into that Afrobeat, quote unquote. So the danger today is that we do not want to look back. Even the Yorubas will say, a river that forgets its source will eventually run dry. Do you understand? No matter what, look back. You can't throw stones at a tree that once gave you shade. Do you understand? There's no way you're gonna, there's something called chronology or chronicling the sound. There's certain names, there's certain people that you cannot leave out. Even the Balabilas, who are the names of these twins, the Lijadu sisters. Have you gone back to listen to their sound? These women were marrying Afro and disco. I was shocked one day when I decided to just go deep into the library of songs, the library of sounds. I was like, whoa, are you for real? You can't leave them out. You can't leave them out. Do you know Onyeka actually started as a pop artist, proper pop music, and then she morphed into the merging of, high life, pop life and things like that. So those are experimental givings. Those are experimental offerings. Those are experimental sounds that has now, like culminated into what we're enjoying today. Do you understand? You look at the Wiz, there's a sauce there. You look at the Burner, there's a sauce there. You look at the Davido, there's a sauce there. Knowingly and even unknowingly, do you understand? So that's it. Yeah. But my greatest joy today is that everywhere you go, that music is being played, it's being heard. It's awesome. But when it comes to architecture, you cannot, architecture, you cannot leave out the foundation. You cannot leave out the doors, the knobs, the windows. You can't. Somebody laid the foundation for the building to stand. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not just, this building looks nice. Yeah, it looks nice, but what about the foundation? Waiting don't enter the ground in order for the house to stand. Do you understand? Very, very important. We must never ever forget.
Yes, definitely well said, Shola. Yes, let's also remember that the name is Shola, really. Now, I was having a conversation with someone last week, and this is just to also buttress the facts of what you have just said as regards the sacrifices that these OGs in the game have made, and of course you also fall in that bracket as to how social media today has changed the game. It's a lot easier, in quotes, to put music out there and then everyone can hear it. Like I said, I was having a conversation with someone. I just stumbled on a couple of videos on social media, and then we're looking at the likes of Michael Jackson and the kind of things that they were able to do. Someone in one corner of the world just does music, and it manages to go around the world in an era when we did not have social media. That definitely goes a long way in telling the kind of work that your generation did at the time. How are you able to push the music, and when you want to juxtapose that with what you have today, what would you have been able to achieve if you have all the advantages that the artists today have? If you had all of that at your disposal at that time, it's unimaginable what you would have been able to achieve. Really.
We went gangster, man. We would take the CDs, the cassettes, we take it to radio stations, stand, wait for them to play. Ha, man, we worked. We worked. Go to Alaba, get the song out, get it played, get it on charts. Thank God for Raypower. Thank God for people like Baba Keke, D1, JJ, people like that, the Macadon. They really pushed, they helped us to really, really forge ahead the sound, the concerts as well, because at the time when you drop a song, you have to perform. So people will come and see you on the stage, Lekki Sun Splash. They come and see you, Golden Tones. You cannot do any DJ nonsense. It's you and the live band. You can fuse a live band and a DJ, but they must see you perform live, as in live, acoustically. You understand? So we went all out. Social media is beautiful. I love it. I use it, but there's also something that is, if we're not careful, if we don't carefully protect what we built, depth too is also lost. We're starting to lose depth. The craftsmanship is suffering. An artist should just come on stage and just do anyhow. I don't see performance skills anymore. I'm so sorry, with all due respect. I love what some of these guys are doing, but I'm saying when I come to your performance, when I come to a concert, I want an experience. Give me an experience. Don't just sing me your popular songs. I want to see stagecraft. I want to see professionalism on stage. I want to see presentation. How are you presenting? I want to see mathematics. I want to see synchronization between you and your band, even you and your DJ, you and your dancers, you and your hypes person. I want to see that on stage. I want to see the work that has gone into bringing me that meal. What have you done behind doors? When a chef serves us beautiful jollof rice, a lot of things has gone into it behind. Otifojufino, the ingredients, things have gone into that. Things have gone into that meal before you serve it to me. I want to see that mindset and that mentality when you come on stage, not just about, hey, bring me somebody else, just sing the meal because you know the lyrics. No, that takes away from the craft. So even as much as we have all these tools, beautiful, times have changed. I love it. Technology, beautiful. But please do not let the craft suffer. Do not let excellence suffer. Do not let presentation suffer. So important. Why do you think Burna Boy is playing all the concerts today? Burna will come on that stage and rip it to shreds. Performance skills, stagecraft, very important. Very important. It's not just about the popularity of the song.
True that. You're still listening to Raypower FM, 26 minutes to the top of the hour. We're having lunch. Well, it's not a lunch date. It's like more or less a brunch date with the Weird MC right here. Big shout out to DJ Maxwell who's joined us live. Tife.
Shola Lori Gogo. Praises Lori Gogo.
Once again. Now let's continue this conversation. Now, apparently, you were also known as the rapper Taylor.
Yes.
If I'm correct about that. And being a female rapper at that time, how was it like for you being a female rapper? Because it wasn't something that was common as at 2004. Even now, we don't have so much of them, but we still have a handful now. But even back then, how was it like being a female rapper, trying to marry your rap with your music? What was it like? And of course, the same question that Tosi asked you earlier, that if it was now and you were like, firing like really hard, like
spitting them bars.
How did you what do you see the acceptance like and everything with the advent of technology, with the phone and everything?
It was, coming out as a female MC was not easy at all. It was very, very difficult. People did not know what to expect. They were like, oh, we don't understand what this is. How do we engage with this? Because I dropped Allen Avenue first. Remember, Allen Avenue came before Ijoya. So with Allen Avenue, it was totally countercultural. Once again, a fusion of Afrobeat now. Fellas Afrobeat. We sampled from a very, very popular song called Look and Laugh. We took the horns, we took the bass guitar, we took the guitar strings, and we put a hip hop beat on it, and boom, it took off. I didn't even expect that to happen immediately. We had to go to Fela Kuti as well, clear the sample. He said, whoa, thumbs up. He loves it. He loved it. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to get bookings. But the moment that one of the promoters, Benson and Edges, put me on stage, Trusky the Kemafuna, it was a wrap. The guys were like, eh? So you've got this kind of energy on stage, you can perform like this, you can spit like this as well on stage and things like that. In fact, we're no longer going to make you an opening act. You're going to be like the last to perform or second to the last to perform because you have such huge, you know, stage skills, your energy running up and down, the way you engage with the audience, the microphone technology, the microphone, control. With the advent of technology today, it's good, but it's still about your skills. It's about your hunger. It's about what you're bringing to the table. It's about value as well. It's not just about, it's gone past, oh, let me just bring a good sound. Value. What are your core values? What are you saying? What kind of impartation are you passing on to your generation and even the younger generation that are watching? Because there's a lot of stuff out there, and I cringe. I'm concerned for the next generation. Now we brought pornography into hip hop music. They're stripping it down physically as well, and I'm like, whoa, no, we don't, and it's infiltrated culture. It's infiltrated the mindsets of our young ones. So we have a huge responsibility, as rappers, as music creators, as ministers, to bring themes that are wholesome to the populace. We have to accept, we have to know that it's not just about me putting songs out. I want to sell records. I want to be #1 on the charts and all that stuff. No, it's gone beyond that now. What is my message? What are the core themes? What are the core values? How am I imparting people? What are people taking from my songs? Can they go back and meal and browse and meditate? Words that will pierce their hearts and cause us to change, cause us to think. It's all well and good sound and everything, yes, but after the sound, what happens? What happens?
We definitely
Now
will
people are saying
come
that
back
rap
to
is
more
dead. I totally
issues,
disagree.
more
I
serious
disagree.
issues. We as creatives need to be very deliberate with our message
Very
and what we're
deliberate.
putting out there.
Very
But
deliberate.
before we get into that, let's talk collaborations. And I want to talk about a particular song that also erupted. It was a bomb. You were on that sound, and it was as though you took it to another level. I'm talking your collaboration with the P
Oh,
Square.
okay.
At the time, they did Busybody. We want to hear the story of how you got on that song.
Oh,
And of course, you brought a whole energy, you brought a different vibe to that song. Let's just talk about it before we take that
beautiful
break,
story.
and then we'll come back to chat some more with you. Yeah.
I met the twins at the Hip Hop World Awards, and we just kind of we just got on, like fire. And then one day my PA just comes, Peter P Square puts a call through to me. They call me Wayad. He said, Wayad, we get this song, this song hot, be like, say, we could need you on this song. So I said, okay, send me the CD. But I sent my PA over to collect the CD. The moment I heard the instrumental, I knew right away I was going to jump on that song. And I just started writing and vibing and writing and vibing and writing and vibing, And then something that I love about them, they don't hang around, they don't procrastinate. I got the CD on Monday. By Wednesday, we were in the studio, the Echo Real Mix studio. I was recording, I was there with Jude and Paul. Peter wasn't around, and they were directing me. And I was like, wow, this is really beautiful. I remember that line, I just the vibe they go, not be me, oh. Something. No, they said, no, put Ijoya, oh. There. So we put Ijoya, oh. And then we did that. So by the time it was, so in a few, a few weeks, we got together to shoot the video. It was crazy. It was crazy. And we had 2 cuts that
Very, very.
video. We did the first one with Jude and DJ and DJ T. Then we did another one. But it was just crazy. They said they wanted the camo look. I got my PA to give me that Rambo look. You could see the smell on my eye. I went back to that movie by Sylvester Stallone. I took some elements from that movie, and the energy was just crazy. We just wanted to kill it, and that's what we did with the song. Reggaeton vibe, but
Yes,
we
you.
brought Africa. We put Africa on reggaeton,
Yes,
and boom,
you
the rest is
definitely
history.
did. And having told the story of that song, it only just makes sense that we listen to it. Here is Busybody, the remix by Pastry, of course,
Mad
with the
energy.
legendary Wayne MC.
We bring it back again. The remix with your
When MC, see your doings. See your doings.
It's
I
not
could
my
see you
doing.
vibing to this
It's the
song.
doing of the Lord. It's not my doing at all.
Oh,
Not by power, not by
beautiful,
might.
beautiful. I mean, we've got to say, great stuff, great stuff, great
Thank you.
stuff. Okay, so let's. I mean, it would be nice that we do justice to some issues. You talked earlier about artists having to be deliberate about the new sound. I mean, about the sound and the content that they're putting out there. It's definitely heartbreaking, especially for people like you. Who did all of this at the start of the game, and then seeing what we have on the airwaves today. I can totally understand it. So, how important is it for us to go back to not just focusing on wanting to blow or focusing on just doing it for the sake of it, to being very deliberate and realizing that it goes beyond now. I mean, we look back at some of the sounds now, and we're still vibing to it, looking at the messages and all that. Some of the names you have mentioned today, we will still play their song 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years from now, and still relate to the messages in those songs on this program. We must say a big thank you to our production crew, the online team led by Omotunde Adeyemi, alongside James Best and Mustafa. Big shout out to
Hello.
all. DJ X has done a very, very absolutely fantastic job as well. All of this have been put together. I mean, of course, the production coordinator is Yewande Iwoha. Tife?
Yeah, it's been an amazing time having the exceptional PNNCR here on the show. Thank you so much once again. We really appreciate you, and we hope that we're going to see more of you, not just on air, but I mean internationally. Thank you so much. My name is Tife Jegede.
Big shout out to the DJ as well. Big shout out to the DJ.